time for a sunrise sit down with your favorite uncle, Uncle Shadz. It's time for a sunrise sit down with your favorite uncle, Uncle Shadz.
Yes, you know how we do when you hear that. It's a sunrise sit down where we have a chat, a talk, a vibes, a energy. This morning of all morning, it's a weather morning, and we have a very, very good friend of mine. He is also vying in this new snap election, and it's Mr. He's on the Now Party, the number 2 on the list, and it's Mr. Claudius Buncamper, where I affectionately call him Bunks, you know, and this go way back like a fade. So I gotta say good morning to Mr. Buncamper. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well, Uncle Shadz, because that's the name you go by, the personality name.
Yes, it's
yeah.
your favorite uncle.
Yes, yeah. I still know you as Addy when you were growing
right.
up, you know.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
what a morning, yeah. I'd hope for a little more sunshine, but I understand what we're facing. I just want to tell the public of Somerton, just be cautious. We mightn't get the brunt of what was anticipated yesterday. Might be a little south, but we're going to get a lot of rain. And rain always brings a problem. If you don't have to be on the road, stay off the road. I don't think there are any supermarkets open, so you can't really go do any shopping.
Yeah, you should have done. You should have done that.
You should have done
yesterday.
that yesterday when you got the heads up. Sightseeing is the wrong day. Do that tomorrow afternoon after everything has passed, or Thursday morning when you go back to work. You can see what really happened. All the billboards are down, so that's a good sign. People heeded the warning. What I've seen so far while driving, I haven't seen any billboards up, so that's good. That means no flying objects unnecessarily. But like I said, wind is not going to be our biggest problem. Water is going to be our bigger problem. Yeah. And I want to now thank the boys from Public Works for having that pump functional. Right. It's going to make a huge difference, because this storm is in the south, which means we have wave action on Great Bay, which means you can't open Great Bay mouth.
Right,
you
right,
can't
right.
just open it to run on the water. Right. You see the value of the pump now? They said God works in mysterious ways. About 2-3 weeks ago, they got this pump online. Here we have a storm passing us to the south, and it's going to prevent us from opening the Great Bay mouth because of wave action. You'll get more water in the pond.
This is the pump in Soccer Garden, right?
No, the pump in the Vromi yard, the big one, the 36,000 gallons pump.
Okay.
One of those is now working. The one in Soccer Garden, that's just a little drain pump. That's a little piece of that don't really trout water. But the big one in the pond itself, yes, that can do a significant.
So where does that water go?
Into the Rolandes Canal, and it comes out by Bobby's Marina. But you see, because it's a canal, you just keep pushing it into the sea. The wave action is protected by the breakwaters there by Bobby's Marina, so you don't have waves slamming into you there. Unless you go all out in a full-fledged hurricane, that's a different story.
Right. All right. So we heard that. So the pumps are working.
One pump is working, and I want
working.
to thank Public Works for that, because that is really going to make a difference today.
And mind you, this is a gentleman. If y'all don't know, this was a gentleman who basically been taking care of this kind of works through your experiences at Vromi for many years.
25. I was there for about 25 years. 2020 I left. I went to Parliament. So, I know a little thing or two, and I still have a lot of good contact with all the employees there. Because sometimes when things go wrong, they will give me a call and say, Bunks, what about this and this? And I will give them the
as
advice.
It should.
Sure.
It should.
They were my colleagues then, they are still my colleagues. So
and
that doesn't change.
Everything is continuity.
Yes.
That is the key.
Yes.
So whether you're there and you could be able to be contact, but that's why I love the sunrise sit down, because I could actually have a chat and a conversation. I need you to let the people know for this snap election. You understand? What is Mr. Buncamper's main goal and main purposes of vying again to be a part of the electorate?
In January, if all had gone well, I would have been elected. I was, how would I say, side. You know, they hit me from the. I didn't see it coming when
Blindsided you a
they
little bit.
blindsided me when the Daily Herald threw out an article 2 days before elections that I can't take my seat because the Electoral Council said so. That was a blatant lie, and I called Miss Tackling and I had conversations with her, and she said, "But I never said that." But you know, the damage was done already.
Right.
I went from 300 to 118 or 117, something like that. I came in fourth in my party. So this time around, I made sure I had legal advice, and my lawyers checked everything, vetted everything, and I think they have now realized that I can take my seat because, with the exception of one person still saying he can't take his seat, he can't. And these are people that have law degrees, and these are people that represent people in court. When you start to talk, so it clearly shows me you don't know the law. Then you scare me a little bit because your clients might not be getting the best of the law because you don't know the law. That's a scary thing, you know, when you pretend to give a certain service.
Right.
Because I have to say pretend now because I know you don't know the law.
Right.
But I can take my seat. I'm going to take my seat when I'm elected on Monday because I will be elected. I'm very confident I'm elected. I'm going to be elected because the traction I have right now, I've never ever had before, not even in 2020.
Wow.
People have really resonated to my message, the Buncamper effect. Shadow, with my knowledge, my ability, and my expertise, there's one thing. You have worked with me in the past. You know when I get involved, things get done. I am solution oriented. I ain't into this long talk business. I ain't into writing 50 amendments to laws that ain't gonna do nothing for nobody.
Yeah, let's get it done is what it is.
Exactly. That has also caused me some hardships in my life because I go out on the limb to do what needs to be done for the country, and after that I can come back and say, yeah, but you shouldn't have done it. So okay, my broad back, punish me. I'm okay with it. But don't tell me don't do it for the country. Now that's the same approach I had in Parliament. For the 2 years I sat, I missed one meeting. One. I have the best attendance in Parliament ever. Not only for that year, ever. Nobody has trumped me.
Right.
Up until today. All them coming in there, none of them trump me. Why? Because I'm paid to be there. I'm not paid to boycott a meeting and walk out of the meeting because I ain't gonna get what I want. That's not Buncamper. Others want to do it, you all go ahead. That's your free will, that's your choice. My choice was to represent people, the people of this country. That's why sometimes you see me very reluctant going along with other countries to say, oh, we're going to solve this together. 9 of the 10 times you cannot solve things together because every country is trying to solve it for their people. So either you stand up for country, St. Martin, and that's what I liked from Christopher Emmanuel. He was a fella, he would fight against the Dutch Curacao, rule all them, because St. Martin first. Right. And I always tell him, I am elected in St. Martin. I'm even elected on the Dutch side. So if I got to fight with the French side, I can fight with the French side. Because our side come first. Legislation, we are 2 different countries. If we like that or not, yes, one destiny, one people, one island.
But 2 different
but
countries.
2 different countries.
Right.
We have 2 administrations. Mr. Mussington runs the show over there. Mr. Marcelina runs the show over here. We got to be honest with ourselves. That's what politics is all about. Yes, we don't have to disagree just to disagree.
Right.
We will disagree when we need to disagree because our interest is not being served properly. That's what it now is all about. We are there for the people's interest. And the Buncamper effect, Shadow, very simply put, is with the reputation I have of getting things done. I mean, William Allen said it on the floor of Parliament. You want things done, call Buncamper.
Yeah, I could remember that.
Okay, good. That's the leader of the National Alliance.
Right.
I still call him the leader because
Right.
I haven't seen anybody replace him properly.
And not have
Look,
to,
we have a leader,
done that.
but she has her style. His style was getting things done. And when they don't like him, they fire him not once, but twice. The Dutch infused the firing of William Allen in 2017, the worst thing we ever did in this country. You mightn't like him politically, but he was the right man in the right place at that point in time. And all those that wrote those love letters to Holland and dangled that $500 million in front of us, look at NRPB today, look at the World Bank, look at the gyms, look at the schools, look at everything coming out and telling us you do something. After 7 years, it should have been done. You shouldn't be doing it. This is the problem that people don't understand. All these propaganda stunts running around putting out letters. The trust fund was to be there for 4 years. We on 7 going on 8. But we cheering on everybody like cheerleaders. This is our problem. We cheer on people that are doing it wrong. The same goes, I don't want to jump into the topic because I'm not going to waste time on it today. It's GB. They're cheering on. Now suddenly you hear the Prime Minister say, oh, I'm going to put new people. No, you can't. No, you can't. The law doesn't allow you. And you got a bunch of lawyers in your party. They ain't telling you can't do what you're doing. You see, this is what baffles me. So, first you tell us on truths about when the engine's going to start and when the generator's this. So you won't get that one, so you're going to fire the rest and replace the rest. Look, Troy has made mistakes. Troy Washington has made mistakes. No ifs and buts, but he's human. I am so happy that they did this whirlwind tour and told the truth. At least people know, hey boy, up to October, we going to be in this changing light business because they had a drop back when another big engine went. That wasn't projected, that wasn't calculated. So I am saying, we know what we are up against, let's prepare and deal with it. That's the best you can do. Firing people, talking stupidness about people ain't going to change that position.
Right.
But we got to talk green energy. We can't be talking motors no more. We got to start talking solar panels. Put them on people's homes. Let the people, if they want to buy the battery. If not, they have solar all day and the balance goes into the grid of GB and GB can, distribute it.
It balances out.
It's what they did in Curacao with net metering.
Yeah.
They put it, you don't pay nobody nothing. Nobody get no money.
You buy your key.
Again, it's simple. If GB used money that was offered from the Dutch to do solar, to do alternative energy, load up roofs. So during the day, your engines don't need to really run too much.
Yeah, because
so you're saving huge on fuel costs. And that means money in your pocket, Shadow. That's what it means. I don't care what nobody tell me. That's what it means.
Right.
And that's a way of making what you have now go further. Because telling people I'm going to give you 2,700 guilders. Listen, unless we print in money someplace that I can't find yet, ain't going to happen.
And we don't have those trees around that you could pick them neither.
No, sir. If we were a dollarized economy, I say, okay, call Biden, call Kamala, call Trump, say, listen, they need to contain a load of money,
Print some there for us, please.
Exactly.
But
because they just printed. That's why they never pay their debt. In that sense, we have to be cautious. We shouldn't be telling people things that are not true. Right. And I'm very, I'm very passionate about the truth. Shadow, I used to be a bad boy. I used to lie too. I know what it means. I know how it means to deceive people. Right. I'm 61 years old. I chose a different path in life about 15 years ago. And for me, love of country is way, way above
primary
love for Tuncha. It is in this business. Look, if I was not in politics, my love comes first for me. And then I can see what I could do. Because if I can't help myself, I can't help the rest.
Exactly.
But if you vie for office, people don't understand this. Serving mankind, serving your country is an honor. Correct. It's an honor. Right. When you go to the army, they say it's an obligation. No, it's an honor that you can fight for your country.
Correct is right.
The problem is, when you come back hurt, they don't want to take care of you. That's the problem. That's the problem. And the same thing with this country. The seniors, they build this country, okay? Me and you didn't build it because we didn't reach their age yet. Right. I am quite close. I got 35, going on 35 years nearly, that I've been working in this country. But we are still destroying their golden years. You think at 75 years they can be jumping on a plane and say, oh, I'm going here, going vacation. No, they're not. They're doing that right now. They go on pension at 60, 62, now 65. We are pushing that pension age further and further. That when people finish work, they are already invalids. Their body has broken down completely. All they're going to be doing is sitting in a rocking chair, enjoying whatever money they're still getting to pay for GB, look at TV. And I'm saying...
It should not be.
Correct. And then we turn around and we want to tax them. And I'm saying, my God, how much money are we getting from this taxation? 3-4 million guilders? You want to tell me per year the country St. Martin doesn't have 3 or 4 million guilders to take from someplace else or to implement a tax that at this point in time is not being taxed? Like, for example, the transaction tax. 0.5%, 11 billion going through your country, 55 million guilders. All I needed was 4 million for the seniors. You're going to save 51 million. Implement the tax. This is a tax that the banks deal with. The central bank gives you your money at the end of the year,
The
every
exchange.
3 months, No, this is not the foreign exchange. This is a transaction. You do a transaction.
right,
I send the
right,
money
right.
from this account to that account, 0.5%. You pay 0.5%. Other countries, they do it.
Right.
It's a proposal that we have made to do here. That can give us about 55 million guilders. You haven't done anything. You don't need no manpower. We own the central bank.
Right.
We didn't get no fair share, so maybe we should find a way to do things and make money. The airport collects about 80 to 100 million dollars a year in various taxes. They have $100 million loan, 2 big loans, the European Investment Bank and the trust fund, which went through St. Martin, and they had I think they paid that back already. They had an infusion loan of 15 million. I think that was to keep payroll running during the COVID times. That's 115 million. If your income is close to 100 million a year, and your operations is 80 million guilders, let's say $50 million. That means you have $50 million every year in
In
profit.
surplus, profit.
So let's say you pay off all your loans in 5 years. We going on now for a few years. When you plan to give the government money? Because the government should easily be able to get 20-30 million from you per year. Easily. Because of the taxes being implemented. Now at this point in time, if government want tax, it would mean that your $65 per passenger goes to $75. You go, oh God, people ain't gonna come. They pay $100 to go to Santo Domingo. They pay $80 to go to Antigua. And why they going? Because they want to go. If people want to come to St. Martin, they will come. This is not a head tax for the cruise passengers. No. This is using the facility called PGIAE. We have to start to tell the people the business modules. 2 cash cows were created in the past. PGIAE and the harbor. It's time that money starts to come back home. Home to country St. Martin, and not to stay in piggy banks so that certain people can do certain things. You got to tell it the way it is. Now, I am not blaming one person, because we had 7-8 ministers that were here after him. All of them leave it the same way. Because all of them were in cahoots with the way of thinking. It's the way of thinking. It's a way of creating funds that you can control as minister. Because when you tell them to do something, they're going to do it because they don't want you against them. That's what it is. There was one director at the airport. I never forget it because I was working public works. We were going to beautify the strip. Down Maho. He told the commissioner at that time, I am not in the landscaping business. I'm in the aviation business. You want trees outside? You pay for them your damn self. But it is a director that you tip your hat to. Like it or not. They said, no, but you should fix it because we're doing this for the tourists that coming through your airport. He said, I'm not in the landscaping business. I am in the aviation business. You want to do that? You pay for that. And it shows you how it works. Because all those monies that he would have had to pay to put on those trees could have come to government, and we could have made choices that were better for the country than putting down a tree. Look, the environment is important. Beautification is important. Your product is important. But at the end of the day, the well-being of this country is more important. And you really have to balance this out. Because if you don't, we're going to continue with this mockery of how we do things. And I'm saying, I think we passed that stage, Shadow. The country doesn't allow itself anymore to be governed by fear or governed by compulsion. This country needs to be governed by people that understand the situation the country is in. Because if we understand that, our behavior right now would be totally different. People are frustrated.
Start dealing with the truth and the facts of what we have.
Exactly. People are frustrated. because they don't have enough electricity, because they don't have enough money, cost of living is through the roof. So people are frustrated. We need to be solution oriented and say, okay, how do we save money? How, it didn't happen overnight, but do it. Make the move to do it. I told them, for example, you have public transportation. What about solar public transportation? Talk to the car dealers down here with government. Bring in 50 solar buses. Put on 5 charging stations in very critical locations where the buses can charge because they come and they swipe. You don't fuel up. You don't need every 10 minutes have every half a day they run around with a $20. No, you swipe in. You drive in a bus for government. You getting a good salary. 2,500, 2,700 guilders, the livable wage, they say. Pay them that. They have pension, they have health care, they have vacation pay, just like another normal civil servant. If you do that, and you putting them in APS and all those things, you have now enhanced their lifestyle. These people have a pension to look at. These people have health care. None of the two they have right now driving that bus. They work 8 hours instead of 18 hours. Because at the end of the day, it is the government that sets out the routes. So now we're going to drive to Point Blanche. Now we're going to drive to Hope Estate. Now we're going to drive to Middle Region. Now we're going to drive to Sucker Garden. Now we're going to drive to the hospital. Now we're going to drive to KB. All of these things will now happen because those routes are controlled by government. Because everybody wants to drive French Quarter through 8 Village Road.
Yeah.
Everybody want to drive Maho, Marigot, and St. Peter's because those are the 4 lucrative routes. You can't put...
Forget that there's other places that you need to go, that people need to get to.
And that's why you have the gypsy trade now. And nothing against the gypsy trade. But we need to create a public transportation that's affordable. And using solar buses. A solar bus costs about $20,000, $22,000 in China. I did the research on it already. Costs us about $5,000 to get it here. 2 in a container, they reach here. Put 2 buses in a container and bring them down. So you need 25. Each container costs about $10,000 right now out of China. Freight is very expensive.
Yes, freight it is.
So if you do that, you can work your transportation. And that's one of the 5 pillars in the cost of living. The other one is utilities. I said, let's go solar. Put the solar panels on the roof for now until we want to set up a whole solar panel farm. Waste the energy. We brought it and I will stick with it. It is something that can give you more for less, which means we are going to burn garbage, we're going to burn tires, we're going to burn the sludge from the sewage plant. All these things we can burn. It has to carry a specific caloric value. Studies were done. The landfill has grown about 5 to 7 meters in the last few years, and it's going to continue growing because the space is getting smaller because you're going up.
You're going up
So
now.
you're under an angle going up, and normally the angle is 45 degrees. I think the angle is about 15 degrees right now. It's way, way too steep. But again, they need place to work. What those boys are doing on the landfill is incredible. Simply incredible. Yet, we wasted about $25 million already in all these preparations for the landfill. We paid out nearly $14 million for people to move around the landfill. Then you go and look at that shanty town now. Nothing has been moved, but we're in the midst of hurricane season. We rush, pay $14 million. You didn't put $1 million to clean up? Or you waiting for the Chinese to come and clean that too? Because this is the jokes that we deal with in this country. This is the ridicule that we are laid out to by the World Bank, and nobody could say nothing. Oh, you signed to that? No. I signed for you to come in and help me, not for you to come in and destroy me. And people need to put it in perspective. We got contractors that can't get a job no place. Yet you're telling people, yeah, but the procedures of the World Bank guided us and we checked everything and they won. They shouldn't even be here. They shouldn't be allowed to tender. If we had nobody that could have tendered, that was a different story. But we have people that tender and they lose. And we put our standards so high that 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the contractors cannot comply. And they say, yeah, but those are our regulations. You either can or you cannot. No. The
When
trust
when
fund.
that happened.
That happened when we signed the trust fund in 2018. We agreed to the rules of engagement. My problem is this, Shadz. You sign under pressure because you need that money. So anything you want me to do, I can do. Right. It was the same thing when we needed the money for the payroll support system. So people could get money because government had nothing. Businesses were down with COVID. If I don't have the money, we're going to have riots. We're going to have, crime. So it was an indecent proposal, like Silveria called it, which it was. And we agreed to it, including me. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I was there. Because I told my party, unless you got a bag full of money so we could give to the people, do not tell me vote against it. Don't tell me that. I'm not voting against it because I'm opposition. I am not going to vote against something that's not good for this country. We needed the money, so we took the conditions, 12.5%, 25%, and there were other conditions. You had to do the country packages, etc. We agreed to it. Those are the liquidity loans. We got to try to figure out how we're going to pay back now. Because it's 310 million guilders we got to pay back. That's what they gave us those days. So again, you have to look at the bigger picture. You have to tell the people, how is it all interconnected? That's 500 million that was given to be infused into country sabbatical for two reasons. Rebuild it resiliently and infuse the economy. How can you be infusing the economy if you're sending the money abroad? If you're giving it to foreign contractors? And don't come and tell me, 90% of all the money was given to the locals. Really?
You need to see it.
90% of, because he says 90% of the projects, not the monies. He said 90% of the projects were local. Great. So how much money that reflects? Because you still got 200 plus million sitting on the banks that has not been allocated yet. So from the 300 million, tell me exactly how much was given to the local contractors. Because I did a fast infrastructure check and construction check. About 65 million was given on island that we can trace right now. That's a little bit, if you're talking about 300 million. And we primarily rebuilding this country. Yes, we pay for certain things. A nice question would be for the NIPB to answer, so how much you pay consultants so far? But just curious, how much you pay? Because don't tell me you gave me $14 million on the landfill to move the people. That was your choice. I said, deal with it the right way. If they're there illegally, they're going to have to move. And if they're undocumented in the country, we're going to have to deal with that matter too.
Right.
They told it to me in the meetings. If we touch one project off, the project is scrapped. They're here illegally, that's all your problem. You should have moved them before. But now that the project starts, we moving nobody, and we're going to give them a better house than they're living into right now. That's when they were trying to force the former minister of Romy Duran to turn over the Foga lands to them. So they could have gone and built. And when the pressure started and we said, so you're going to build homes for undocumented, but the 3,000 on the list of the Samaritan Housing Development Foundation ain't going to get a house, everything went quiet. Everybody went mute. Then suddenly the social procedure, everybody was paid out. $14 million was paid out to the people.
Paid out to documented. Of course, there was some that was documented, but then paid out to undocumented.
Let me leave it to paid out to everybody who was residing there. GB was not paid out, who was also there. TLM, who was also there with cable yards, they were not paid out. Oh no, they had to fend for themselves. You see? But the it is such a hilarious situation. Because while I am happy for the people, make no mistake, I understand what you're doing. But you cannot do it the way you are doing it to the detriment of the country. A lot of that money left the country, I know there was a lady, had 10 booths down there, but she don't reside here. So that money went by FedEx to Santo. And I am saying, we cannot be serious. We cannot, the money needs to stay here. So if I'm going to fight the Chinese contractor, I'm going to fight that too. I fought that 2 years ago. They talk all kind of thing, fair mongering. Is it true or not? That's the only question you have to answer. Is it true or not? Don't come with no 20-page press release. The people just want to know,
Is it true or
How
not?
much did you
How
pay
much did you pay?
to consultants that are not St. Martin based? How much did you pay? 100,000? A million? 5 million?
What did you
Because
pay?
they are busy already for 6-7 years. How much did you pay? Because I know everything on that landfill so far is two-pronged. Consultants and equipment. Nothing else. Nothing else. They bought a loader. When, when we wanted to buy a loader, they told us they don't buy no second-hand stuff. Only you. Governor landfill, more than half of the equipment is second-hand from some partner, from some company, from some place. You know, this is what it is, Uncle. This is what it is. And this needs to change.
Right.
We need to put people in there that are willing to govern with country above. If you can do that, then we stand a chance. We're going to have to come together after elections to work with each other.
Right.
So, you know, some people say, well, Bunks, you just bash them. No, I don't bash them. I call them out on their nonsense.
You speak. I've been following you. Of course, like I said, I don't inject myself, but I do follow. I do watch. I do listen.
Yeah.
And you are an individual has always been passionate about your work. I admire that. But you also speak. You call them out on their ish, is what I would say.
Yes. No, but and that's
You
it for
call
me.
them out
It's
because-
not personal.
Yes, and it should, and as it should never be personal. If
Exactly.
you are country above self, you understand? Then
Yeah.
everything you are speaking here now, you understand, is truth and factual and for country. Because me personally, and when we have our conversations, when you ask me, I just be honest enough to tell you, Bunks, I'm tired.
I think a lot of people are.
I don't know who to vote for. I don't even want to. And these are our
And-
conversations
yes.
because of what I see. If I'm paying attention to what you're speaking about, if I'm paying attention to what Miss Silveria is speaking about, if I'm paying attention to what your party leader Christopher Emmanuel is speaking about, if I pay attention to what everybody is speaking about, you ask yourself the one question: what are you doing to my country? That is my question.
That's not only yours. A lot of people in St. Martin have that question. Why vote? Well, the most important reason to vote is because it's a right that you didn't have to fight for, but others fought for. That's
Right.
one. Two, if you don't vote, those that are there will remain there. If you want change, you're going to have to take that bold step and vote for change. The thing is, what is the change?
And that's my question,
And
because
I can speak for me, the Buncamper effect.
Right.
That's the change.
That's the
I
change.
get things done that need to be done.
But Mr. Buncamper, what's going to happen on it's Tuesday?
No,
Tuesday's-
Monday. Monday's the elections.
Monday's the election. So Tuesday morning we're gonna find out
Who won?
who won.
Yeah, which parties pulled how many seats?
And then we're gonna go through the process of having another coalition. Because
Yes,
it's that for me, after all my years, you understand, and you're 60 plus, I am past the 50 mark as well. So
you can say how high up you be, and it's okay.
Up there.
I know, that's right.
And I'm sitting down and I'm saying, I look at my mom, I look at my grandma. My grandma's gone. I look at my mom. I look at my big sister, and I look at my family circle, and I say, what the hell's really going on in St. Martin? What is going on? I mean, we have a coalition government, but nobody can't seem to make up their mind. The last coalition was 17 days, and that was because those who was in, they want to get back, so whatever they concocted made it happen. Now,
And
today, we got another
that you have
election.
to, and that's why I said, we had 4 years of governing with fear. They lost the majority, so they put the fear of Jesus in one of the boys. And after 17 days, the good gentleman decided to pull the plug. The problem is this: the damage that is being done
damage.
internationally to us. We are the laughing stock
The
of not the Caribbean, you know,
The world.
of the kingdom for sure. Because
What is amazing, when you say the king, I am a news buff as well. So I pay attention to news in Europe, news in America.
yeah,
And a lot of times we got ABC, NBC, CBS. And I had 6 days straight. ABC, NBC, CBS was only talking about St. Martin.
yeah. But it's, you know, it is, what happened is crazy. But at least you know who was involved.
Right.
You saw the list with the signatures. So you know which 7 were there. They called themselves those days the Magnificent 7. Then or the Super 7. And then it became the Magnificent 8. I think that lasted 5 days. That Magnificent 8 lasted 5
We
days.
need to stop throwing rocks and
So-
hiding hands.
So my thing is this. If you are so desperate for power, because a lot of people say, oh, I run elections to govern. I agree with you. Because I governed from the opposition benches when I was there. I led Parliament down many directions. Because when I spoke, all other 14 listened.
Right.
I prepared myself well, and I went in there and I laid out a case for a direction. Mind you, I was not government.
Right.
How often didn't government support what we were doing on the other side? Because you are governing a country. It is not me or we
Against you.
versus them. All 15 are parliament.
At the end of the day.
It means all 15 are governing. Because when you are not in the coalition, it doesn't mean say you can't bring motions, you can't bring proposals. My problem is we doing as if it's A versus B. It's not. It's not. But maybe to solve this immature, because we are very immature politically yet. And Samantha is a very immature country when it comes to politics. Maybe to protect the country, we might have to do electoral reform in the sense of, okay, let's do something like the French side. Let's do the system like the British. So on the French side, you have parties that run against each other. And then if you don't pull the majority in the first run, the 2 highest ones go to a runoff. That's the French side. The British is a little different. You run in for constituencies and you divide the island up to 15 constituencies and the people that go in there, because you're now only running, you're only vying for the votes in the constituents
constituency
where
that
you
you
come
come
from.
from.
So parties gonna have to fix that in such a way that they got their best people in their constituencies to win. That is the
Dutch
British
Walker,
system.
St. Peter's,
Exactly. You got so you can run with the parties or you can run as an independent. As an independent, you know up front that person gonna have to form government with the others or be on the other side. The French system, I like it a lot for the simple reason that you have an outright majority if you win of 17 versus 6. 6 opposition, 17 government. So even if 1 or 2 decide, I ain't working with you no more, I ain't like it no more, you can't drop the government. This is a bloc gonna have to walk away. And I mean, you had a problem in your party before you even started. Maybe this is the way to go. And because you curb ship jumping, legally you curb it, and you help solve the immaturity we carry political, because we are very immature still. The way we are behaving in this campaign shows how immature we are. And we need people that can think out of the box, Shadow, have experience and ability and knowledge to make serious choices. We can't make choices on emotions. We make choices on rationale. We checked it. This is the best way to go. These are the pros and cons. These are the additional risks I got to take care of and keep in mind and make a decision for country. Not for no party, not for Buncamper, no, for country. It is a difficult word, because all of them go up there and say, country above self, country above self. And when you see their
Trying
actions,
to figure out which country they're talking about.
their own at home, when you see their actions, you say, but wait a minute, something wrong. What did I miss? Maybe I missed an interview. And this is what we got to be careful with. At the end of the day, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. It's an honor to serve one's country, no matter which position. How you think Casey Carty feels right now, being on the West Indies team? It's an honor. And you see how they made it also so clear that he's the first Samantha. It shows you the honor for him to represent his country. Now, mind you, his father, Keith, is a Calypsonian. He used to sing in Angola, he used to sing in Samantha. He always used to tell him, Calypso is Calypso, I don't care where the boundaries are. Calypso is Calypso.
It's social commentary.
Exactly. But it shows you.
As you're saying that about the young Carty, we have a tendency here to not see what is so important of our ambassadors, our entertainment, our sports, we
You
miss so
you
much.
you hit the nail on the head. Our orange economy. This is where all the music comes in. We have spoken, and now the Now Party has a budget for culture, youth, because they have the ECYS. Guess what? They're now told, hey, you got to cut 7 million from that budget from culture, education, sports, and youth. Because the previous government injected and inflated a budget to make it look nice with all kind of taxes from Winair shares to airport this, and that were not true. Were a farce, was a fake. And CFT now tells us cut 30 million of that budget because that budget can't get approved. So now they got to go and cut 30 million off of the 2024 budget. If this doesn't show you their intent, the Never Again Party, the NE, you should never again allow them to come back in. This is absurd that you can present a budget and then come and cry big crocodile tears on the floor of Parliament. If you don't pass this before the 31st of March, what's going to happen? Look at what happening. 30 million guilders we got to cut. Go tell the people that. Instead of lying about how you all fix this and you all that approve buying injured. Listen. We have a cricketer that has reached the highest level.
Highest level of cricket, eh?
Up until today, all we do is talk about that cricket field.
Yeah, but none did.
I can remember a big businessman in Samantha said, I will help pay for it. Let's just get the land and build it. Because where they be right now, they can't get that land. It ain't for sale. And they were going to go to Belvedere in the development that they are doing right now, and they were going to put a huge cricket field there. They had Carrefour and all them coming. It was a big cricket field. I haven't heard anything. Same goes to the drag strip. At least now, I was able, as a concerned citizen, to talk to the people in Vromi, talk to the present minister of Vromi, to see if we can get an allocation of an area on the ring road to do a drag strip and a drift strip. And at the same time, that strip is about a quarter mile. The boys them can also come and do their wheelies there and train, do their stunts there. You have a stand, people can see it, instead of doing what we do on the roads right now.
You and I have spoken so much on the talent that we have in St. Martin. We grew up around so much talent. The Glenn Pattersons, the Gal Pattersons. These guys played basketball, they played baseball, and they were always around. But when I sit down, I say, but my country don't have, they're not putting anything into no form of entertainment. Me being an entertainment, an entertainer, you know how much money we collected and spent and put in, and but it's no longer there, and it hurts to see that the kids know how we. When I have a friend that is on the Trinidad Olympic team, you understand, a swimmer. She's amazing. She did not get a gold, but she made it to the Olympics. You understand? We have Curacao right there that has someone in the Olympics. What's wrong with us? Is my
I got to be honest to answer that correctly. St. Martin cannot be in the Olympic Federation for the simple reason that the Olympic Federation, the International Olympic Federation, doesn't allow it. That's why Curacao runs under Holland, swims under Holland, plays baseball under Holland. St. Martin will have to do the same thing.
no problem.
Aruba got
But
it.
at least, when they're flying, when they're flying out, I don't care where we under. Really and truly.
Right now, we can run under two nations. Aruba, who is Olympic Federation certified, because they did it in 1986 when they got status aparte. So about 40 years ago they did it. Those days the doors were still open. Today, it's much stricter, and that freedom isn't given anymore to nor Curacao nor St. Martin. 10, none of us. We used to have the Netherlands and Tilly's Olympic Federation. That was the federation we used to run under and swim under and do everything, judo and all those things. That ceased to exist in 2010. And they did not grant Curacao and St. Martin the right, coming out of that former country, to become an Olympic federation, illegally body.
I'm gonna have to cut a shot, but
I
I
agree.
always say you can always come back, even on election day, if you feel like coming in.
No, election day, I gonna be talking to the people on it to make sure I get the support, my brother.
wrap up and tell St. Martin exactly, because we went over the time, but you know, it's still that day, and you're here with me. We go to my program, we work it out how it is. Speak to St. Martin people for your last 2 minutes and tell them exactly
Thank you.
what it is.
August 19th, most importantly, go out and vote. It is your civic duty to show the country what you think, what you feel, and where you want them to go. Whomever you vote for, and I hope it's me, Claudius Anthony Buncamper, the number 2 candidate on the now, is you want to tell them we want to go down this path. We have had manifestos in January, they didn't change. Read the manifestos if you're not. My number is 520-1188. Call me. I just always answer. I call back people. I call back people. And I can tell you questions that you need answering yet if you didn't make up your mind. The Now Party is the onlyest party that speaks of the opportunity to make its people wealthy in this nation called St. Martin. Me, Claudius Anthony Buncamper, I'm extremely solution-oriented. I'm a realist. I don't sell pie in the sky. I sell you the realities on the ground and how we can move forward. I stated in 2020, I fought for it for the 2 years I was in Parliament. I am now still selling it, is to legalize cannabis and ensure that that economical power pillar can be used to ensure food sustainability in country St. Martin. Right now, everything is imported, and that's why we suffer sometimes that the shelves are empty in supermarkets because the boat didn't reach, because they can't pay the container fee. Or we can grow it here ourselves with our farmers, with our co-ops, and do what we need to do. I gave you a solution to alternative energy so we can drop the GB bill. I gave you a solution towards transportation, which means we can drop the transportation cost. Those are 3 of the 5 pillars that are making up our cost of living. Health is on its way, but I am not there, and I don't want to lie that I am there. So as I go along, I find the solutions. We have solutions in our manifesto, but they are going to be needed to be tweaked with the situation this country finds itself into right now. We need to learn to use monies that are available. Climate change is a big problem. We need to deal with it, and there's money available there to build smart homes. Sell the homes we have now to the people that deserve it. They have been living in Belvedere and other areas for 20 plus years. Those homes were built in 1998, people. We're going on 30 years with those homes. Sell it to the people. And then give the same St. Martin Housing Development Foundation a new mandate to build a new 1,000 homes and spread those over the island so that we can build smart, affordable homes, because owning a home is one pillar of stress that you don't have anymore. Come August 19th, I ask you kindly to put your trust in me this time around. I can take my seat. I will take my seat. Don't let nobody fool you with all their rhetoric and nonsense. The reason they do that is because they fear Buncamper. They fear the Buncamper effect, because it is an effect that will make us all better, not just me or those around me. I have never put family and friends first. I've always put my country first. I have a track record that proves that. You go back and look in the last 35 years of my civic works. You go back and look at Sky's the Limit and all of them, and you will notice that it wasn't me first. It was country first, and all those fellow musicians that in the years that we did music in the orange economy, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 CDs were produced. Go and count them. Ask the musicians back in 2010 who was the man running the Calypso shows in St. Martin. Bunks is out. Take care.
Thank you so much, Mr. Buncamper. This was